Hello, it's me, R.R. Lee, and welcome back to 428 Shibuya Scramble. We have to do Achi's story, because he does something 5 minutes after 11 that apparently ruins Osawa's day. The man with the cane aimed his gun at Hitomi, his face devoid of emotion. Just look at that, just look at those eyes. Please? The girl said, trembling. Why are you doing this? But the man did not reply. Hold it! Quickly, Achi stepped between Hitomi and the gun, spreading his arms wide. Stop! He said in English, one of the few English words he knew. He quickly reverted back to Japanese. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Still, the man did not respond. You know this guy, Hitomi? The guy that's trying to kill you? Should I let him in? No. Achi was sure he'd never seen the man either. What are you after? Money? Because if you are, boy, you are wasting your time chasing us. Someone already took the money. The man furrowed his brow, adjusting his point of aim to Achi's face. I'll kill you first. His bloodthirsty gaze left Achi no doubt that he was willing to pull the trigger. Reflexively, Achi took a step back, his foot clattering against a discarded beer bottle. We're gonna get gunned down for sure, unless we can find some way to catch this guy off guard. It didn't need to be much. If Achi could just distract the gunman for a moment, buy himself the briefest window. Shoot me then. Go on, do it! Achi stepped forward as he shouted, hoping the provocation would confuse the guy for just long enough. It did not. Instead, his phone rang. Even as Achi moved, the gunman's attention was distracted for an instant by a sudden sound. The phone in his breast pocket was ringing. Seeing his chance, Achi... That's three options. Lunged forward in an attempt to wrest the gun away, snatched up the beer bottle and swung it at the assassin, grabbed Hitomi and ran. It feels as though lunging forward would get him shot, because that would be like an instinctual trigger pull. This, I feel like there's enough time, like you seeing someone dart down to grab something and then come back up. That's like 5 seconds. Let's just... But running without doing anything... Still, though, I guess, I get the feeling we might get shot, though. Hitomi! Achi grabbed Hitomi and ran. He charged the man in the doorway. Oh, okay, oh, yeah, that's true. To get out, they'd have to go out the door. That makes sense. He charged the man in the doorway, kicking at the cane he leaned on. I know English. The assassin lost his balance and stumbled to the left. Run! Still holding Hitomi's hand, Achi rushed out of the club. The two sprinted away through the side streets and alleys of Shibuya. Achi began to feel as if they were running from some maddening gaze. Before long, the two had made it almost as far as Aoyama. Wait up. Huh? Achi, wait up. I'm tired. I need a break. Let me breathe. Achi glanced back at Hitomi. My bad. I guess we've been running pretty hard. You tired? Hitomi shook her head. Yeah. No, it's just I have to go to Dogenzaka. Dogenzaka? What for? What could she possibly need to do there now? Hitomi's not the time to go shopping. That's what I was told when I handed over the attaché case. Oh, they wanted to kidnap you too? Okay. The man leaned in to whisper to Hitomi as he reached for the case. You're gonna do exactly as I tell you. 2 things. He wore a cool, feigned smile, as if this were some casual conversation. First, you're gonna go to Dogenzaka and get in the blue van there. Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, anything. What was the second thing? Yeah, sure. Hitomi nodded wordlessly. Second, you will not attempt to contact either the police or your family Okay, could you speak up a bit? Hitomi, his chilling tone brooked no argument.
Just those two things and we'll let your sister go. The man said very hoarsely.
Hitomi nodded again. The man flashed her a big, bright grin. He must have been spending a lot of time practicing those lines, like for his voice to be that hoarse, like that low.
Okay then. Give me the money. The money's mine. Give me the money. Come on, money. Give me the money.
A blue van and Dogenzaka, huh? Achi muttered. So that's why you said the police were a no-go. Yes, exactly. Hitomi's voice betrayed her desperation. I wonder if your sister's in that van then. I doubt it. If she is, then we've got to hurry. The issue lay in how to get to Dogenzaka. I can read. They could probably avoid their pursuer if they kept to the streets only the locals usually knew about. That meant staying off the more well-trafficked routes like Roppongi Dori or the stretch between Miyamasuzaka and the station. The side roads south of the station were their best bet. It was going to be a long detour. Alright, come on. Turning, Achi headed back the way they come. They'd come? After a moment's confusion, Hitomi followed. I thought that was going to have an A instead of an O for past tense, but okay. Achi? There was a note of worry in her voice. Hey, don't sweat it. I actually live in Dogenzaka. We're heading right back to my old neighborhood. Hitomi bowed her head. Thank you so much. Hey, it's no problem. I had to head home anyway. You know, I get shot at all the time. Achi gave her a big grin, and she cracked a tiny smile of her own. Hey, you two, you got a minute? Hey, these guys look familiar. Achi looked around. A pair of men approached them from across the street. There was something shady looking about them. If anything, they're brightly dressed, I would say. Achi's protective instincts kicked in, and he stepped in front of Hitomi. If these guys meant trouble, he wanted to be ready. We just want to ask you something, see? The younger of the two men drew in closer, a sharp gleam in his eye. Achi braced himself. Ask us what? You know where the Nokane building is? The man held up a flyer. It was for some sort of health food sales demo. Come on, man, the Nokane building. You know where it is or not? Achi knew the name. Wasn't it one of the buildings on Center Gai? That was near Dogenzaka, the same direction he was going. No harm in helping a couple lost dudes. Achi pointed them in the direction of Center Gai. Nah, I don't like the thought of these two following Hitomi and me. Achi pointed them in the opposite direction from Center Gai. Yeah, I don't like that idea either. Achi pointed them in the opposite direction from Center Gai. Pretty sure it's that way, he said. Thanks, man. Sorry to bug you. The two men headed off towards the main road. They're suffering from a drought. Achi and Hitomi hurried onward, following the sparsely trafficked side streets towards Dogenzaka. I don't think even I knew this part of Shibuya was here, Hitomi said as she looked around. Yeah, a lot of people don't. I used to mess around in this neighborhood when I was a kid. The area was a mishmash of rundown residences and office buildings. Almost nobody ever comes here anymore, unless they live or work in one of these streets. Check it out over there. It's a rare first-hand glimpse of the Shibuya River. The drought? With no water? A minor river that runs from Miyamasu Bridge to the Tengen Bridge, depicted in the 36 views of Mount Fuji by Edo period ukiyo, I don't know how to pronounce that, artist Hokusai. In Hokusai's time, fireflies were collected from Shibuya River and presented to the shogun, lending credence to the idea that the river was indeed clean in the past. So it's not clean now? Have you always lived in Shibuya, Achi? Yep, born and raised. Achi bent down to pick up a piece of trash from the roadside. That's why I do this. It just pisses me off to see folks make a mess of this place. He picked up another piece of trash. I don't have a job, so I just pick up garbage every day. You know you can get paid for that. Man, what am I even doing? Like, cleaning up even matters right now. Hitomi took a long, hard look at his face. What? He demanded. What is it? You're a strange one, Achi. That so? Yes, she was right, of course. It was sort of strange collecting trash every day instead of getting a job. I would agree, yes. He had his reasons for it, but they weren't important right now. We should keep moving. Right now, the important thing was getting Hitomi to Dogenzaka. Come on, he murmured. A sudden angry shout broke the silence as they hurried along. That didn't sound like a shout, that sounded like a couple of punches to the face. Hey, hold it right there! Achi and Hitomi stopped, but the shout wasn't directed at them. Further up the road, a group of thuggish-looking men were having some kind of argument. The man who was shouting had grabbed one of the others by the neck. Idiots. You still got the gall to call yourselves SOS. The Studs of Shibuya, a youth gang operating out of Shibuya founded by Achi Indo. Its current leader is Susumu Nishizawa. I mean, yeah, Susumu, but the other men standing around looked distinctly uncomfortable. It takes money to run an organization. No, I know. And since it's not like you're Achi or something, I thought you could maybe spare some help on that front, boss? The top dog, the man in charge, the head honcho. Here it refers to the leader of SOS, Susumu. A change in leadership can really shake up an organization. The new boss's personality and disposition are a huge factor in whether the group continues to prosper. The fact that Susumu is being asked to spare some help on the monetary front suggests that he still has things to learn about being in charge. Hitomi looked at Achi when the stranger spoke his name. You lead a gang? He smiled awkwardly and then turned back to the altercation. Shut your mouth, Susumu Park. How dare you say Achi's name in my presence? Hey, Achi called out. What was that about me? Can't you see I'm walking here? As soon as they saw him, the other men went pale. Achi kept his tone casual as he strolled up to the group. Susumu, you can't just give the guy a beat down in broad daylight. To mess someone up super bad, usually with punches and kicks and stuff. Don't want to shock the upstanding people of our fair city, you know what I mean? Achi, Susumu glared. Can we drop the pleasantries? Aye, Achi replied with a hint of a sneer. You got it, Susumu. And I'd like to point out we're not on a first-name basis. With that, Susumu turned and stalked away. His buddies followed suit, leaving Achi and Hitomi alone again. Did you know that guy? Hitomi asked. Well, yeah. Did you not pay attention at all to the conversation, Hitomi? His name is Susumu Nishizawa. And yeah, I know him. Or I thought I did. Used to be friends way back. On a first-name basis, some would say. Me and those guys were all part of the same crew, but I bailed a little while ago. Achi felt silent. To his great relief, Hitomi didn't pry further. They had other things to worry about. Achi and Hitomi had gone a short distance further when he caught a sight of a man picking up something alongside the train tracks. I wonder, is he picking up trash? Achi went over to him. Hey man, you picking up trash by any chance? Huh? The man let out a panic shout. Huh? Tase Yasuda, 35 years old, just opened up a knickknack shop in Shibuya. Achi knows Shibuya like his own backyard, but this Yasuda guy is new enough that Achi doesn't recognize him. He's just looking for inventory for his shop, I guess. Sorry, it just kind of looked like that's what you were doing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm picking up trash, of course. The guy seemed pretty unnerved. Like, I just got to thinking, man, this place is filthy. Oh, this face. Right on! Achi claps the man's hand in his own. Someone else who gets it. They do? Totally. I see all this trash all over the place and I can't stand it. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. The man breathed a sigh of relief. I can't stand it when someone throws something away when it could still be useful. I hear that. That's the spirit, haha. Achi pulled out the trash he had stuffed in his own pocket. Here you go. Huh? Go ahead, have all of it. The man looked dumbfounded. Usually I go around picking up the trash around here. But I've got a little thing I gotta do today. You got it from here. I'm counting on you. What? Actually, I'm kind of, great, thanks! Achi beamed in approval, then rejoined Hitomi and headed down the street. The man let out a sigh. Fine. What am I doing with my life? Yasuda thought. Slipping through a narrow back alley, they came out near the top of Dogenzaka. Achi looked down the hill, but didn't see a blue van anywhere. He and Hitomi started making their way down towards Shibuya Station. Hitomi muttered to herself, I don't see it parked anywhere around here. Her face twisted up with worry. It was a lot harder to find street parking closer to the station. Hitomi, hold up! Achi had a sudden idea. He darted into the nearby soba restaurant and got some food, motioning for Hitomi to follow. Hey-ya! He called out to the proprietress, a sharp-eyed, middle-aged woman. You're looking as lovely as ever today, I see, Achi. Are you done collecting trash for the day? The lady took a look at Hitomi, her eyes lighting up. Maka Yonida. Maka Yonida. When she was 19, she happened to stop by this place and was captivated by the chilled curry soba. By the day's end, she had decided to make the restaurant her new home. Married the owner at the age of 22, and they managed the establishment together. Last year, her husband of 30 years passed away. Now she safeguards the generations-old secret of chilled curry soba on her own. Is this your girlfriend? No, no. It's nothing like that. The proprietress was undeterred. Oh, she looks just like a model. She's the spitting image of me at that age. My, Archie's got himself a girlfriend. I said it's not like that. The woman waved Hitomi over. Now, you know Archie's got a bit of a mouth on him, and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's a sweet boy, okay? Okay. Hitomi forced a polite smile to her face. He'll try to deny it, but don't you listen. Has he told you about Suzune? Hmm? Could you not? Ma'am, please. Achi jumped in on the conversation. You gotta hear me out. Whatever's the matter? I'm just trying to talk up your good points. Have you seen a van parked around here? A van? Let me think. Yes. Come to think of it, there was. A blue one, she added confidently. Hitomi leaned forward. Where is it now? She asked. Well, I'm not really sure. I don't keep a close eye on things outside, after all. Hitomi slumped. I see. I know it doesn't look it, but I've been quite busy today. The man who makes my noodles came by earlier to settle accounts, and we fought and fought over it. No head for finances, that one. That's his problem, honestly. And on top of that, of course, my part-timer Masa has to have today off, honestly. First-year student at Minorikawa Academy, a young, sweet man who works as a part-time delivery driver for Dogen Hut and sends all of his leftover money to his mother out in the country. Lately, however, he's gotten himself a girlfriend, and he's been sending money back home less frequently. His noodle house job doesn't pay enough to support both his mom and cover his dating expenses, so he's scheming for a way to make it rich quick. Achi frowned. Had she really seen a blue van? Or was she just being chatty? Well, you didn't mention the color of the van, so... Older women who ran tobacco shops or noodle houses did seem to have a knack for spotting details. Because, again, you didn't mention the color, you just asked if there was a van, and she said that it was a blue one, so I'm pretty sure that she saw it. Achi decided to follow up some more. Was there anything unusual about this van? Well, let me think. The man frowned, pausing. The woman frowned, pausing for a moment and thought. Aha! A flash of reconciliation shone in her eye. Of recollection. That's right, now I remember. I think there was some foreigner sitting inside. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. A foreigner, you say? Yes, I'm sure of it. The man who makes my noodles said he saw it too. Was there anything else? Hitomi asked. Nope, not that I can remember. That was it. That was the only notable thing. He was a foreigner. Hitomi hung her head in frustration as they left the soba shop. Achi did his best to cheer her up. Hey, we might still be able to find that car. Let's try waiting around here for a little while. Just waiting. What good will that do? It's possible that they went looking for you when you didn't show up, Achi said. Maybe they'll come back, you know? Achi sat down on the edge of a planter outside the restaurant. But the criminals already have the money, she said anxiously. Even Achi understood the implications. Now that the crooks had the ransom, their hostage was nothing but a liability. Why take the risk of letting her go when they already have what they wanted? I mean, they wanted you to go over there, so it's like they could have just dropped her off. Like, I don't think you're thinking this through, Achi. The situation was bad. Very bad. Super bad. Still, just running around Shibuya willy-nilly was only going to tire and frustrate them. Achi wanted to make sure Hitomi had the chance for a little break. We don't have anywhere else to look, so let's just give it 10 minutes, okay? Hitomi seemed unconvinced. She looked like she might just march off down Zogenzaka at any moment. I understand how you must feel, but you must know what they say. Slow and steady. Stay in place. Hitomi burst out laughing. What's so funny? It's slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, Achi. For real? Yeah. Hitomi smiled, then sat down beside him. All right, she said. We can wait here for 10 minutes. Not a minute longer, though. Cool. We've run enough races today already, right? Hitomi kept her eyes on the cars passing through Dogenzaka for a while. Then she murmured softly to Achi. Thank you so much for everything, really. You can thank me after we find this van. I'm sure I'm sure if I'd have been by myself, I'd have been in too much of a panic to do anything. Oh, what can I say? I try to keep my head up and face things as they come. You're quite the optimist, aren't you? Achi grinned. He tried to recall what optimist meant. He was pretty sure it had something to do with doctors, or maybe glasses. Yep, optometrist, yep. The shy, sweet look on Hitomi's face as she said it, though, made him figure it was probably wasn't a bad thing, whatever it was. Cars drifted on by, one after the other, but they saw no sign of a blue van. After a while, even Achi began to grow impatient. It was starting to feel like a waste of time. And then... Hitomi, look! There it was. A keep out sign. Amazing, Hitomi. I'm surprised you didn't see that. Someone else has to proceed the story, it seems. Kano... I want to see what this guy has to say. Minorikawa. The Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 towards Shibuya, a motorcycle produced by Honda with an 85cc engine. Displacement, a common sight around town, often used by newspaper and postal delivery workers. Many owners are big enthusiasts, some even swapping out parts such as the handlebars or mufflers and giving the body a repaint, resulting in a fashionable bike that doesn't even look like Super Cubs at first glance. I keep saying words wrong. That is a that is a good picture. I like this. The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kilometers per hour. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. Minorikawa shouted as he sped along. I think I'm just gonna call him Minoru. Damn it! I'm not gonna let you die! Who's dying? He jerked the handlebars and blew past a truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by. You maniac! You trying to get yourself killed? Just the opposite. Minorikawa shouted back. Just the opposite! Minorikawa shouted back. I'm saving lives! The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection. Oh, come on. He had no choice but to slam on the brakes. But his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again. How long this thing's gonna stay red? Hurry up already! He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out. Not on time is not in my dictionary. The light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. Oh, the engine died with the sputter. Huh? Oh, come on, what the hell? You ran out of gas. Car horns blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. He used all of his gas throttling it. Either that or it stalled because of how much he was doing it. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Was the problem with the spark plug or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have time to figure it out. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years, abandoned on the roadside. I'll never forget you, he thought to himself. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab. Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer. The taxi driver nodded coolly. I mean, he definitely dressed that way. Of course, sir. 10 minutes! I need you to get me there in 10 minutes! The driver grimaced. I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit... 15 then! Sir, that's still... Look, that's all the time I can afford. Assuming traffic conditions are cooperative, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises. Minorikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges. Mr. Kimizuka, I choose you for this. You can do it. Choose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure, I suppose you could phrase it that way. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. Anyway, can we get going now? Right. Kimizuka said with a faint sigh, I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. Sounded a bit more faster than decent, I would say. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. Oh, flashback time. He had been at home, working on an interview piece. A ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he would probably wrap this piece up in no time. Be quiet! He pointed at the telephone as he yelled, I'm writing here! But his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick up. Minorikawa speaking. Oh wait, I actually got... Minorikawa speaking. There was no response. Hello? He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call? It's me. It's Toyama. It was Teru Toyama, president of Heaven Publishing, a publishing company that puts out both hard-hitting non-fiction books and tabloid-style scandal rags. The invincible journalist, penned by company president Toyama himself, was a candidate for the Japan Non-Fiction Prize. Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full. He had taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he'd been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while. No, this isn't work-related. Then what do you want? I'm kinda pressed for time here, working on some copy. Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this. Ah, you're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer. Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting. I hear sales have been good for your inn, he said cautiously. With this month's 4-Star General Gossip and all. 4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. A magazine focusing on the private lives of celebrities and politicians. Most of the articles found in the pages are random nonsense, but 1 out of every 100 or so contains an actual major scoop, making it a difficult outlet to ignore. Excuse me. It had a small circulation and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they'd land some big scoop and it'd sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that moved 100,000 copies with ease. 5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it? Minorikawa X. Minorikawa X. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again, then again. It kind of sounded like sobbing. Mr. Toyama? Or Are you crying? There was another soft sob, and then yet another. What's going on? Where are you? Minorikawa asked. At the office, Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper. What's the matter? It's nothing. Well, it's gotta be something. Come on, what is it? Toyama gave no reply. Mr. Toyama, you still there? Silence. What is it? What happened? Look, Muff doesn't tell me anything. Well, what the hell's going on? Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now. Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur. The only thing I can do now is die. The taxi lurched into a sudden stop as the driver slammed on the brakes. Minorikawa pitched forward, his face smacking against the back seat in front of him. So he was having that flashback as he was going forward, like in the car. So I'm guessing he's arrived now. That I liked it. I like that a lot. Kimizuka stuck his head out of the window. Careful, buddy, he shouted at someone in the street ahead. You're gonna get yourself killed. Minorikawa blinked the stars from his eyes and saw a man moving alongside the cab. The guy grabbed onto the handle of the back door. Please, I need you to let me have this cab. No way. No way, Minorikawa snapped. Just who did this guy think he was? Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab. I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please, this is really, really urgent. Urgent? Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please. The guy did look pretty desperate. Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here too. Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here. Okay, come in. The guy sure was persistent. Maybe he was telling the truth. But Minorikawa had problems of his own. Sorry, buddy. It's a life or death on my end too. I gotta look after me and mine. Right. So sorry to trouble you. Finally, the guy gave up and shuffled away. Guess it couldn't have been that much of a life-ending crisis after all. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. Damn it! That just cost us 5 minutes. Oh, Kano just caused the guy to die, didn't he? I'll try to make up for it, sir, the driver called back. The taxi lurched into motion, the engine quickly revving up to speed. Once inside the building, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing's rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-Star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Whoa! The sight as he stepped into the office filled him with horror. Dun, dun, dun. Minorikawa clutched the sides of his head. I'm too late. Dang it, Kano. Oh no. If only I'd gotten here a little sooner. Add in. Just 5 minutes. No, wait, hang on. No, wait, I wanted to. Oh, no. I pushed the wrong button. Is there a way for me to. No, wait, no. No! Okay, let me just. Okay, let's just skip past this. Let's just skip past this. I mean, I wanted to look at it, but I wanted to check. I pressed options to see like if it would give me a list. I didn't want to see this again. Well. Oh no. If only I had gotten here a little sooner. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, bad in. Now I can look at the tip. I'm pretty sure it's just Kano. Minorikawa rushed to Heaven Publishing as fast as he could. But he didn't get there in time to save Toyama, and sad to say, it was really all Kano's fault. Why does Kano want a taxi so badly? Check his 110 timestamp and the situation might become clearer. Alright. Yeah, the buttons on screen aren't the same one that it's mapped to on the controller, so I just pressed the wrong button there because of that. So let's see what Kano has to do. Come on, Kano. Stop ruining other people's stories. As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who had thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He followed the culprit as far as the alleyways, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kusei's voice crackled through the earpiece.
Mobile Command Center calling all units! The suspect on the motorcycle has handed off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner.
For real? Kano muttered. One thing immediately struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike?
The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We've retrieved the bike and run the plate. We've determined it was a stolen vehicle.
The advanced police communication system is carefully maintained. By using the digital wireless systems in their patrol cars, officers are able to directly access the station's computer networking, allowing them to quickly check to see if an individual is on the wanted list or if a vehicle is stolen. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect is now carrying the attaché case, is heading through Dogenzaka, also on foot. We've got him under observation. Oh wait,
we've got him under observation. I forgot. I didn't see that he was still talking.
Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now.
It looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units head to Dogenzaka. But do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the subject with the case. Let's see where he goes.
Kano nodded to himself. Without knowing more about the crook's MO, letting this guy go for now was probably the only right call.
I just want you all to know one last thing.
Kusei's tone grew more solemn.
Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out.
Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him. Don't disappoint me, Kano, Kusei said. Right, it's now or never. The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. But first, a phone call. Who could be calling me at this time? Kano pulled his cell phone from out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. Oh, yes, of course. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while working on a case. Maybe it was an emergency. Maybe they were out of food at the house. He decided to pick up. Rumi, Kano speaking. I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now? Yes, I'm trying to find a $500,000 USD and a kidnapped girl, but I have time to talk. what's up? Kind of. Is this an emergency? Well, yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now, and... Shibuya? Why did she have to be in Shibuya now, of all times? So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden. What? Rumi's father, Shizo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never even... How would you even pronounce that word? Deigned to meet him. Yeah, he told me that he wants to meet with you. What, now? Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he intended. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait. This can't be happening, Kano whimpered to himself. I'm sorry, I know he can be demanding. That's not the issue. Her dad offering to wait made it even harder for him to refuse. Alright, Kano said, but I'll have to call you back later, okay? I'm really sorry. I'll be at a cafe called La Trek. It's by the train station. Rumi hung up. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze, staring at his phone. I can't believe it either, Kano. As if keeping up with his case wasn't stressful enough. Yeah, seriously. At last, he stumbled into motion. But even as he scoured Dogenzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixated on the meeting with Rumi's dad. Kano just couldn't get Rumi's father from out of his head. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with his casework today. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Odds are that this will not be the only once-in-a-lifetime experience Kano winds up having today. Maybe he could slip away just for a little bit. You know, who cares about the money and the kidnapped girl? There were plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizo shouldn't be that much of a big deal, would it? This is my big chance. I should go meet with Rumi and Shizo while I can. No, right now I've got a job to focus on. Which one? So one of these leads to him trying to steal the cab? I honestly don't know which one it would be. I guess focus on his job. I mean, he can always go later. No, right now I got a job to focus on. Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell had he been thinking? A girl's life was on the line. Marrying Rumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with some old man probably wasn't going to score him any points. You don't think? You don't think? Rumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who'd approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Kano would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule. Then he could have a proper sit-down with Shizo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of a man with the attaché case walking by. Further up along Dogenzaka in the direction the perp was heading was where Yamatedori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with the getaway car. No, wait, hold on. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamatedori or Route 246 at all, but back towards Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless. The police wireless system is digital. In order to make transmissions more difficult to intercept, there are several different channels available, including the local basic channel. A common channel for contacting other nearby patrol cars, channels assigned to specific precincts, action update channels for riot squads, and so on. There is also a separate channel specifically for kidnapping cases, not on the standard wavelengths. Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore.
That's not your call to make. Keep watching him.
Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if... Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attache case to yet another foreigner. Again? How many foreigners do they have? Kano thought to himself. How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of the men. Kano followed the man with the attache case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizo would be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called La Trek. The name of the cafe where college student Roko Kakinuma works as a waitress. Named after 19th century painter Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, he created numerous works including many posters, book illustrations, and book covers, which are highly regarded in the art world. Regarded highly. He kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read, La Trek. Looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him. The man seated across from her must be her father, who locked eyes with Kano. Kano realized he'd never seen a picture of him. Shizo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago, he had been a detective with the Investigation Division. NPD, Investigative Division, responsible for handling crimes such as murder, kidnapping, and arson that take place within the Tokyo metropolis. Truly exceptional officers are assigned to this division. They are regularly dispatched to various regional task forces to aid in investigations, where their talents and experience often prove critical. The position of section chief is traditionally given only to dedicated personnel well-versed with crime scenes and organizational administration. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured if he had become a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he thought he could approach Shizo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he made the decision. He was getting old, that's why. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizo for permission to marry her. But the only response he ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place, to marry his girlfriend. And now the chance to meet Shizo face to face has finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? Well, it's a dad. It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting him, later filled Kano with sudden dread. I just like looked at his face more behind the text, and He caught me off guard. The man went into the JR Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine. It looked like he was planning on boarding the train. A scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind. It just sprang into it. Where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out of the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside of the dragnet and pull a stunt like that? It looks like the suspect is going to board a train. Kano informed Kuze over the wireless.
Make sure you stay on his tail.
Apparently, Kuze still wanted to string the perp on for a bit. We got the lizards ready
to pursue.
Japanese lingo for motorcycle squads deployed to pursue suspects in urban settings.
We'll re-establish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at.
The man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he'd bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading clockwise along the Yamamoto line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. Officers do not actually get free rides on public transportation simply by flashing their badges, as infrequently depicted in TV shows and films. Doing so might risk alerting the suspect. For this reason, prepaid cards are provided ahead of time. An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. Not ideal. There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up to the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. The trains on the Yamamoto line didn't stop for long. As soon as they were on their way... Soon they were on their way. Okay, I read that wrong. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone. Yes, everything's going fine on this end, he said. There's no need to worry. In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right towards the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Well, now that's not suspicious. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could from the phone conversation at the other end of the car. Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread. 225? Article 225 of the Penal Code of Japan states kidnapping for profit and kidnapping for ransom. Accordingly, 225 is police shorthand for kidnapping. That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. I mean, they could have done it when you weren't, like when you lost track of the guy too. They could have swapped the cases then with someone else. Did you ever think of that, stupid? Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he came. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. Yes, right. Understood. Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he walked past. I'm saving this for later, Kano thought to himself. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to stare him down, or look away nonchalantly. I mean, what do you get from staring the guy down? Just look away. Kano decided to look away nonchalantly. But his anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment he turned his gaze right back, locking eyes. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest. My apologies, the man said. He shut his phone with a click. I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone while you're on the train. That's just common decency. The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. You gotta stop staring at everyone, the anime girl on the shirt said. An oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. Blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama, when did you get here? His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. His steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. It's quite rare for Sasayama to actually wear a suit. On the rare occasions that he does and he's walking the halls of his home precinct, he frequently goes unrecognized. Here are some Sasayama's costume designs from his evidence playbook. Say Santa, anime nerd, gangster, ninja. Wait. Hang on. What was that last one? Not that. This one? Emphasizes bulginess in final versions. Hardcore metal. Is that the guy that goes on Gaki no Tsukai sometimes? Is that who? I think that's who he's dressed as. I'm pretty sure. Chef, magician, samurai, and an astronaut, to name a few. But this was a new extreme, even for him. How would you blend in as an astronaut? When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits. But lately, his quirk had become tedious. I mean, it's not like you're helping him shop for them, dude. You like the ocean? Huh? Never mind. Sasayama pulled out a small bottle from his breast pocket. Drink this while you can. Guessing you haven't eaten. You're giving him... what's this? It's the least I could do. He handed Kano the bottle, then slipped away into the next compartment. I mean... He pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip. Whatever this was, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him? What the heck, anything's better than nothing. He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. Gulp, 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 gulp. He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his entire body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. A burning that spread from his insides to his fingertips. And there was this pain. A numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Over and over. Twitchy, achy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. Willy-nilly? That's a feeling? Okay. This was not good. This was super duper not good. He was about to have the most explosive diarrhea of his life. He broke into a cold sweat. His forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He felt his grip on consciousness slipping. Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me? With bleary eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle. Burn. Burning hammer. After a few scant letters, Kano blacked out. So giving the homeless man the bottle was a bad choice for Tama the cat, huh? The least he could do. Kano blocked out after drinking an unknown substance without checking to see what it was. What he drank, it turns out, was a free sample of something called Burning Hammer. But don't blame Sasayama. He was just passing along a sample he got from someone in a mascot costume. Alright. Okay. Well, that's all the time I got for this one. I mean, some progress, but mostly bad ends. So next time, gonna have to go to Tama and have her give the bottle to the businessman. That seems to be the solution. But again, that's all I got time for this one. I'd like to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll enjoy the next one as well. Goodbye. Goodbye.